missed you, and we hope you missed us. We're your pals, Tommy and Val. Welcome back, Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. It's been a week. It's been a week since we have all met here in this community. So I'm going to read you something we prepared, and it's something we prepared like a year ago. And it says, we want to amplify the message that we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. We want to support one another in business by building a compassionate network together so that everyone wins.
Especially the animals.
And the way we're accomplishing this mission is because by hosting this show, by creating from Valerie's vision and Valerie's mind, the first ever annual Compassion Awards, which is coming up in just a matter of 3 weeks, which is a strange thing to say that it's 3 weeks away when it was an idea like 6 months ago. And we were like, oh, we don't have enough time to do this. And now we have 3 weeks. So that's how things happen. That's life. It just keeps on moving. Look, we do this through the show. We do this through community where I mean, I'm just like, even just today, 2 phone calls that Valerie and I had before the show. It's just super exciting of some of the new stuff that's going on that like, it only happens when you put yourself out there and take some chances and get involved with opportunities, right, Val? What do you think about that?
I think this is all your fault and you are impossible to say no to, because this is Tommy's best line. He'll go, let's just do it. We have to do it. We have to. You're like, well, we're talking about an awards show, right? And I'm like, okay, well, it's March. We want to do this in October. We have a lot to do. It's a first time event. We want to make it an annual event. He's like, we have to do it. Like, I'm like, okay, you're right. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because I thought I was like super spontaneous and all that. And then all of a sudden you start hitting me with stuff. I'm like, dude, you can't out Tommy D. Because people are playing that role, like who's in charge anymore? Like sort of like, you know, like when my wife and I might go to dinner when we leave the kids home alone, like who's in charge? If the kids are in charge, that's dangerous, you know. So that's why you don't leave young people running the show. But I will tell you, we're having a lot.
I want to update our little mission statement though, because I know it says we want to support each other in business, which is 100% true. We want to patronize restaurants and stores and professionals who are empathetic to animals. But also, we also want to support rescue and animal advocacy. So we're gonna add those, definitely.
So listen, you know what? We're already doing it. We're just changing what we're telling them, I guess, right? I mean, we're doing that. Today's example, like today's episode, is an example of just that. It's just really, it's about, so we do 3 things on this show I talk about a lot. We learn, we educate, and then we advocate. And I mean, look, if you're kind of badass like me, you can advocate before you learned or educated, which is I sort of do things like when I say like shoot from the hip. Sometimes I don't even like
act as if
like sometimes you guys do that too. Like sometimes I just
it's a good shotgun,
like let's do it and then like pick up the pieces later, which is not a great business model, but it makes things exciting. But Eileen, hello. Gina, hello. We're going to get you in the conversation. I just want to say hello. Welcome to the show. Eileen Shanahan and Gina Lamb representing the Warrior Ranch Foundation, but then also Gina's company, Iron Horse Fields. Good afternoon. How are you both? Before we even jump in, how are you?
Doing great. And thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. I'm so... I do like very little research before we get a guest on the show, because unless I know them already, but I just like to have unscripted questions and thoughts or whatever. But yeah, so we have 2 things to talk about. Wow. Okay. So where do you want to start?
Well, I want to just start. Let's do this before we get started. I just want to tell a quick story, and then they're not quick, but it'll be a story. So look, one Friday afternoon, here's how it goes. One Friday afternoon, I'm out of Horseability. Shout out my buddy Katie McGowan, my Horseability shirt, right? I am a board member. It says Tommy D. You know you're Tommy D when they literally get a shirt made up and it doesn't say Tommy, but it says Tommy D on the shirt. So I showed up at an event yesterday and I go to grab my name tag and I'm with my friend Narikia from Girl Scouts of Suffolk County. And she goes, oh, they say your names are by like last name. And we go to find the Demisa name and it's literally says Tommy D on the name tag. Like I probably did that, but I don't remember doing it when I filled it out. Point is, Horseability. I'm at Horseability on a Friday evening. This will be a quick one, Val. I'm there on a Friday evening.
Late.
Robbie comes up to me and goes, Tommy, I see what you're doing. You got to meet Eileen Shanahan at Warrior Ranch Foundation. He tells me that on a Friday afternoon. And then Saturday morning, I'm at the American Legion in my neighborhood. because well, Friday night I'm at the American Legion. Saturday, they told me tomorrow we're raising a flag for the Suicide and Remembrance flag, which is now a federal flag to remember those veterans we've lost through those taking their own lives. And I'm standing next to this woman, and it turns out it's Eileen Shanahan from Warrior Ranch, an organization I'd never heard of like 17 hours ago. And then Eileen has been on Philanthropy in Focus. We talked about the mission of the organization, but we've got to talk about the mission. But as Gina being an equine professional at the organization, really today, what we want to talk about is, yes, what the organization does for the people, for the veterans, but also, and I want to look at my notes because I want to make sure I hit this right, the rescue, the retraining, and the repurposing of these horses as well. I was on a board meeting for Horseability last night. There was a retirement party for 2 horses. So I learned about this, not that the party was last night, it's a couple weeks ago, but I learned what happens when the horses retire. And then they go to my greener pastures, wink, wink. So like just fun stuff. So that's what we want to learn about today is the organization, what you're doing for the horses. And Val, I know you have a whole bunch of questions about it. So can we start with the background of the organization, and then let's dive into just us doing Q&A like we're having a cup of coffee together, right?
Sure. In a nutshell, Warrior Ranch, we got incorporated in 2016. And what we do, we are through horse interaction, we are a recreational therapeutic outlet for veterans and first responders. So we rescue, retrain, and repurpose horses. And we have the veterans and first responders work with them during our retreat days. And so it's twofold. So it's about the veterans and first responders, and it's about the horses, but our veterans will be helping our horses. So it's America's heroes rescuing America's icon. It gives them a path and purpose. It makes them feel really great. And there's a dynamic that they can relate to with the horses. And what we do is we teach them about the nature of horses and how horses communicate. And then they in turn, as humans, communicate with the horse, because the horse communicates through body language. It's the only way they know how to communicate. And when they communicate, for example, they could pin their ears, they could poke at you, they bite, at each other, and they bite each other, or if they turn and they might raise their leg or kick out. That's how they talk to each other. That's how they move each other around the field. Now, when we as humans go into that herd, the most important thing we have to be is that leader, because that's how they communicate, and we have to communicate to them so they don't communicate to us like that, because we'll get hurt. It's about safety. So we communicate through our body language the same way horses communicate with each other. We use tools, we have lariats, we have sticks, we have ropes, and we use those tools to help us, because if you need distance between you and the horse. So it's just about safety. So we become the leader in that herd. And we teach our participants to be leaders in that herd. And it's quite natural because our veterans and first responders are all natural leaders.
Yeah, that is very true. I just have to ask probably a ridiculous question, but it popped in, so here we go. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie. I think it was called 28 Days with Sandra Bullock in it. Okay, so there's a scene. So part of their program or whatever, they had a horse, and the whole goal was to teach the people that were in the 28-day facility. It was like a rehab facility for, I think, alcohol or whatever, or drugs or both.
That scene though. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so there's a horse.
How could I not know that? I've seen it.
Okay, I'm going to describe it because I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen this movie, but they were trying to train them in like confidence and patience and whatever.
Yeah.
So each person that was in the rehab facility had to go up to the horse and like grab
lift the hoof. Yes, now I remember. Yes.
lift the hoof in a certain way where it would just its natural reflexes would be to cooperate.
Mhm.
And Sandra Bullock, of course, can't do it. She's like trying. The horse is just standing there, and if it doesn't want to, you're not going to win that battle. But then towards the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the horse complied, and it was like a very magical, emotional moment. But I'm just curious, is that a real thing? Like,
it is a real thing. What it is, the horses mirror our energy. Okay, so horses by nature are prey animals, humans are predators, so their senses are very heightened. Okay, and whatever energy we're giving off, they're going to mirror it. So if I come in and you say, hey, how you doing? I say, I'm doing great. Val, I could be completely and totally lying to you. Humans lie all the time. We always hide our feelings. We do that. You cannot lie to a horse. So
I love that.
So you can jump into it. So
that's fantastic. I love that so much. I'm so into body language naturally anyway. Because I mean, like, I think most animals, that's how they communicate. You know, I mean, a dog will growl or, you know, you might get something audible, but at the same time, you know, their tails are a big tell, you know, same thing with cats, their tails communicate a lot, you know, but yeah, okay, so by all means, would you mind delving into a little more body language with horses? I'm curious, you said pinned ears, what does that mean? Are they mad?
Sure. You wanna read?
Yeah, I mean, so in a herd with horses, or if let's say you just went to go up to one, if they like really pin their ears back and give you that look, it could mean a bite. You know, it could want to bite you. If it's in a herd with other horses, no, they do bite. Listen, they got big
That's
teeth.
that's how they communicate. That's all they know.
Yeah, and if they
Yeah.
want to, you know, push another horse around, they're gonna pin their ears back first. It's like a warning sign, and then if you don't move, then the next could be a bite or a kick.
Mhm.
So you gotta kind of know those, you know, the signs of, you know, where you that you gotta
And-
watch out.
And the horses battle for the leadership every
Every
day.
day.
Every
Every
day, doesn't matter. And
Wow.
in a herd of 100, there's only one number one, one number two,
Yeah.
one number three, all.
That changes, that stack ranking change.
It can, it doesn't always necessarily, but you have to fight it every day. Like we go to our horses every day. Cody and I, 90 minutes sweating, both dripping sweat before I had to wait till he gave it up. If I needed to be that leader, and
Wow.
he did. So it took 90 minutes the first time, took half that time the second time, took it 20 minutes. Now today, 14 years later, he may try, but I'll say, I don't get mad. I just say, okay, I make him run. I make him move. Heart and lungs talks to the brain. I make him move. And now today, if he decides to be a little feisty, I say, okay, and I start moving, he'll take like 5 steps and go, no.
Yeah.
I know.
I have to tell you, like, I guess it's a good thing. It was a moving moment for me, but it was like magical. And Tommy knows this. I sent him the video. I'll have to send it to you guys too. But a few months ago, we were driving around and we were just kind of like looking for some property, whatever. And we happened to be in a very rural area. And we see these two gorgeous horses. I don't know what they're called, but they were like white with like brown patches on them. Just stunning.
Probably.
Oh my God, they're so beautiful. And I said to my husband, I go, pull over. And I don't know if it was just like I was needing this or it was like a magnet for me, right? And I got out of the car, and as soon as I started walking over to the fence, the two of them just started walking over. They were kind of far away. They just walked right over to me, and they let me pet them. And I'm telling you, it brought me to tears. Like I felt like it was like a godly moment. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm connected.
Therapeutic, very therapeutic.
They're magnificent creatures. I
All
can't
time.
explain some things, but they're just absolutely magnificent.
They make
And
you forget everything else.
Yeah.
You know, if you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
no, wake up, I'll go to the barn, and you kind of forget about it. You know, you look at them,
Yeah.
you smell them, and you're just like, oh, this is. It is.
I want to hear some
Okay.
crazy success stories. I want to hear. I know we have to go to break shortly, but like I would love to hear some of these moving moments that you can't explain, because I thought it was wild, and I was so elated after that. You know.
no, they're beautiful creatures. I know if you have to go to break, we'll get into, I can wait
It
till we get
happens
to
a lot,
stories,
though.
but it happens all
Those
the time.
moments happen all day long. It's just
Yeah.
like little
Right.
small stuff, but you know, being
Somehow they
around
know.
horses all the time, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you just see that?
Mm.
You know,
I
like
could use a horse right now. I feel
Yeah.
like
Come on. you got a couple right here.
Cue the horse. You walk
We
to-
are gonna slip away to take a quick break, but I will tell you this, Val. So I wanted, I have children, they wanted a horse, and like when I talked to Katie, and this even came up last night at Horse Billy, I was like, well, Katie, look, if we're gonna retire horses from time to time, and you need them to live in somebody's backyard, I'm sure they could live in my backyard. My kids would love that. And she goes, Tommy, I've already told you, you have all these horses, you don't need one at your house. And then now Horseability is about 9 miles from the attic. So it ain't that far really to just get down there and see the horses.
Yeah.
Without, when you come here, we're going to go out to Calverton together. We're going to go to Warrior Ranch Foundation. We're going to go see them, because I will tell you, if I'm having a challenging day, if I can sneak away, and I call it get my fix. And I say that, look, ironically, today is 12 years since I've had a drink. So just to shout that out, because that's about
That's
not
awesome.
it's about inspiring other folks.
I'm on about 12 hours.
Well, so that's, hey, small steps, one day at a time, 12 hours at a time. But I will tell you, I joke about getting it fixed, but I feel great when I go.
Yeah.
I literally am calmer. well, I mean, I'm still Tommy D, but I'm calmer than normal. And it is you feel your state change. And we'll talk now, we'll talk about, I do want to talk about when we come back too, how when the veterans had an opportunity with Robbie to pick up one of these horses, the horse that they picked up with who's blind and or missing an eye, we'll talk about that when we come back, because that story is very inspirational to me. This is Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. I'm going to share Warrior Ranch Foundation's website while we're at break. We'll be right back.
Yay.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
We're back, and I don't know about you all, but I can't get enough of the minis. No matter that's who is this? Butterscotch is one of these.
Yeah, Butterscotch is the one in the front, and then Schmay's the one behind them.
May, how you doing, Schmay?
Yeah, they're so cute. They are so cute.
I can't. I cannot look at
Funny
these
to watch
pictures.
though.
Yeah,
They
they're
make
Oh
you
my God.
laugh. They're like little circus.
I just want to be there right now. I'm dying over here. I'm like I need more words.
Val, you know how funny life is, right, Val?
Oh, forget it.
You know how funny it is? Like, one day, so I told you how I ended up meeting Eileen, but then like one day I'm out at my cousin's out at like Southold, and I'm driving home on a Sunday morning. It was like a bachelor party the night before, and I'm driving home, and I'm like, I'm cruising. I don't even really know where I'm going, and I don't care. It's super early. I'm just like, I gotta get home for like a soccer game or something. So I leave early, and I pass by this sign, and out of like, it's like an oasis, and Warrior Ranch is like right in front of me. No intention of going there, like not consciously, subconsciously.
Go the universe, 100%.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you. So rescue, retrain, and repurpose. Where do you rescue? Where do these horses come from? And also, Gina, I have to ask you, how did you become a horse trainer? Because I don't think I've ever really met one before. I know they exist. But that is a unique vocation for, I think, a Long Islander, right? I don't know, but yeah. So where do you get the horses from? Where do they come from?
So we get the horses where we got Sully. They come from different places. We got Sully from the Standardbred Rescue Foundation. He is a standardbred horse. He's 16 now. We got him a year ago. He was a racehorse. Wasn't very good, so he didn't race very long, and then ended up like he was a trotter. The ones that they pull the carts.
Yeah.
And then
Beautiful.
right. So then he ended up unfortunately ended up with the Amish. He worked, and then when they're done with them, unfortunately he ended up in a kill pen. And we're not sure what happened to his eye, whether it happened before they let him go or if it happened at the kill pen, but he lost his eye. And what happens is because he was a racehorse, he has a tattoo. So the Standardbred Rescue Foundation was able to retrieve him from there, and which was great. So they got him, and now we have him. Robbie Siegelman of Siegelman Stables, great guy. He was a trainer for over 40 years, had recommended that we go there, and we went there, and we got Sully, and he's very, the folks back at the ranch, the veterans and everybody really love him and identify with him. He himself is wounded. He's got one eye. He had a few scars on him when we got him too. So,
And a
but-
tattoo, which a lot of veterans have all.
Right. Yeah. And yeah.
They had an opportunity, Eileen. Some of the vets were with Robbie, if I'm not mistaken, and they chose Sully specifically because this.
Because he was wounded. Yeah, he was sorry.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
I
yeah, no, so
know.
yeah, Robbie is a great guy. Robbie works with veterans a lot, and they took one look at Sully, and because again, there's beautiful horses there. There was many to choose from, and Sully is the one who came home with us.
So heartbreaking though that there are so many. I really wish. that
So, but
was-
Gene is teaching him. You want to teach him how he's teaching what we first got to do groundwork, and then because he was standardbred, and then she's
Yeah,
teaching him
he
to ride.
was, he's very, very sensitive, very emotional horse, and he only knew how to drive. He didn't really know how to be anything else, even to be a horse. So when we get them, we just try to like desensitize them and kind of fit into our world, be around the veterans safely. So I spend a lot of time doing a lot of groundwork with them, lunging, just being respectful, not pushy, just picking up the hooves nicely, that everyone could be around them safe. That's the main goal. And to be
Yeah.
used to the program. So he was very nervous, high-headed, especially with one
Mhm.
eye gone, which we really did feel that happened fairly new. It wasn't something that he had because he was so like looky,
Mhm.
very guarded on the one side. So we had to make him feel safe on
Yeah.
that one side, that he wouldn't be so like spooky.
Mhm.
Every now and then he gives a little, but he's a much nicer, better horse. Like his head would be so high up in the air from his emotions. Now he's just like really,
He chills out.
really chill. Everyone loves him. He's such a nice, sweet horse. And
We've actually gotten on him and rode him.
yeah. I've got
So Gina, for someone who's they're in love with horses, actually, I'm sure Eileen, you could both probably answer this, but like as a kid, I remember loving horses too. I actually took a few horseback riding lessons. My dad was really resourceful and he always wanted me to be around animals. So he went to CW Post, and as an alumni, I went to that campus all the time. My dad was playing their pianos because we didn't have a piano. And then he got me to be able to take, I guess, like discounted lessons or something like that, because he was an alumni there. Anyway, they stuck me on a horse, ginormous horse. I wasn't afraid or anything, but this horse was not, I guess, ready for children or whatever. And the next thing I know, it's up on its hind legs and I'm holding on for my dear life. I think I was in like third grade. And but when you're that, young, you have that really low center of gravity. So I'm holding out like for dear life, right? And they finally were able to like rate him in, and I got down. And at the next lesson, I got Milton, who was like this old, just like clap, 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 clap,
Yeah.
like a really like
It's
the
a big
sweetest horse. But so my question is like back then as a kid, and I'm all excited and I love the horses, if I wanted to get into this career, like what's the career path for someone who wants to become a horse trainer?
This is not anything I ever picked or wanted to be. It happens in my life.
It just happened.
I did other things in my life, and then I don't know. At one point, I ended up with my own horse, and it was something I always wanted. And I have him now probably 13 years. But I mean, I knew how to ride. I used to take lessons and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when I got him, it was a different ball game when you own your own horse. And he taught me a lot. And I met a great group of people, which that's
Yes,
how I
Eileen,
actually
too.
met Eileen, through
Yeah.
which is a natural horsemanship group. And I learned all that groundwork, because I probably would be dead right now if I didn't know it.
I hear you.
Because I remember when I first got on my horse and I went into the park and he took off on me. He just
Oh
ran,
my God.
ran, and I was like a frog in a rocket. I just held on and I didn't know really what to do,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now
I do know.
I learned so much stuff, and from having him and being around other people and their horses, it just started helping other people. And I ended up with a second horse, and they both taught me something entirely different. And it just one thing led into another, and here I am in front of you guys working with her.
That's amazing.
And I love this. I love that this is something I really never thought I'd ever be doing.
Yeah.
I just got my horse for my own pleasure, loved horses and wanted to ride. This is a
Mhm.
different ball game, and I love it. I love helping the veterans. I love seeing their faces, how it changes for
Yeah.
them when they
Yeah.
look at them and they see the transformation of, let's say we first take a horse out of a stall and they're like, might be a little up. And then once they start working with them, they see how calm they get. Even the people, you see how they
Yeah.
start to relax.
Yeah. What kind of feedback do you get from the veterans who are working with the horses?
We get a lot of different
You just got a
feedback.
couple of
Yeah,
texts to you
yeah,
the other
actually,
day, yeah.
I'll find one of the text today. But what happens too is, Tommy, you were just talking about it before. People pull down the driveway, and as soon as they pull in, they
When they
start to relax.
They see the sign
Right.
and the gravel, just the noise of the
The
gravel.
noise of the gravel does it.
Yeah, there is
Breathe
something.
open.
calming.
Yeah, very calming,
Yeah.
and they start to feel like a sense of, peace.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an oasis for me,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So it's so I don't want to say strange because I'm all keyed into this kind of stuff, but it's just like that you can go to a place and even if I couldn't see, I would know that I
No, you feel it right
Yeah.
away. You feel it right away.
It's
Yeah.
spiritual. They should make a noise machine sound of the gravel, a car pulling on gravel. It's usually like the ocean or whatever,
Yeah.
right, waves. The
well,
gravel.
we
doesn't-
are looking to do a water thing too, but the gravel, when we were building the ranch, some of the research and development we did, we were looking for things that were calming. And believe it or not, when you drive on gravel, that does become common. We've heard that over and over and over again. And I was just looking at my phone before I was looking down because one of the texts came back. Someone said, "Oh, like I just sent them pictures of the day." And they said, "Awesome. Thank you so much. Love today. Can't wait to come back. Haven't stopped talking about today's experience. I'd like to come whenever possible. Had a meltdown recently, and days like today are just what the doctor ordered." So you
Aw.
get some wonderful things.
Yeah.
Here's another one. I enjoy the ranch so much. All the people I've met are so nice and pleasant. I love the fact that you start off saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Bringing around the horse is a gift. I enjoy doing the groundwork and learning techniques. I love being part of the ranch. I love this place. That's so we get texts like that
Yeah.
all the time, and it makes us feel good. It makes it all worth it.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into running a foundation, and it's not easy, it really
Oh.
isn't. But then you have such wonderful people that step up and help, and days like we have at the
It
retreats,
becomes a family,
it does, it's a
the
family.
same people start showing up and,
Yeah.
they become friends and they want to go to the next retreat, they invite other people.
Yeah, it's
You know
not,
what else too is that I feel that it also is, because you hear this a lot, there's so many wonderful veterans who I adore anyone who puts their life on the line for other people,
Mhm.
and first responders. And, these types of programs that allow them to be around animals, volunteer, work with them, whatever, you hear a lot about loneliness, you hear a lot about loss of purpose,
Mhm.
and you guys are giving them something to look forward to.
Mhm.
It makes me emotional, it really does.
It's a wide range of ages too. It's anybody from the 20s
Absolutely.
all the way up. We've had, unfortunately, she just recently passed away, but we had a 90-year-old Marine, and she used to say, "I love telling my kids I'm going out training horses today," but we have
Yeah.
all ages. It doesn't, because you can do as little or as much as you want. You just want to look. We've had someone come the other day, came to the retreat, and who's been there often and thought they were going to, come in and help, but they were just like, what? I just kind of want to hang back and watch today. It was like, fine.
Yeah.
You can do.
I
as
want to be the
little or-
one that gets to feed the carrots. I'm gonna feed.
Okay,
I'm
no,
the feeder.
you're on the wrong ranch.
So,
We don't hand feed the treats, we don't hand feed.
Oh.
You gotta put them in
No,
a
because you have to, and when you go up, you have to have a fist because they might think that it's a carrot, right? Like, and it might
Yeah.
snap your finger off. We
Yeah.
don't hand feed treats. I don't know why. You're gonna have to tell us that. Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial
Yeah.
break. But before we take a break, and you're gonna tell us why we don't hand feed, I want you to just shout out Eileen, October
Oh, October 2nd, our Harvest the East End event. It's our premier fundraising event for Warrior Ranch. It's being held at the ranch. It's going to be a great event. Two for the Road is singing. We have a lot of military guest of honor speakers, a lot of horse performances and demonstrations. So go to our website. It's Harvest the East End at Warrior Ranch. It's 2 to 5 p.m.
So if I go to Warrior Ranch, can I find that there or?
Right there, right there.
Right there on the-
Warrior Ranch
all right, so I'll
Foundation.
share that as we go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about why Valerie cannot feed carrots, horses out in Calverton, and other fun facts. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law, business law attorney, and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Hey, everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Ready for that, Tommy?
Yeah, we're back and we're back. So can you see my screen, everybody? Val?
Yeah.
All right. So I was having trouble finding it. So it's actually again, for the event coming up October 2nd, Harvest the East End 2022, on the farm, on the ranch, October 2nd, Calverton, New York. You'll see right here, there's tickets to be sold. I'm sure there's sponsorships available.
There is, yes. there
Yep.
are.
So if you're the kind of thoughtful business leader, business organization, company. I was at an event yesterday, the Long Island Business News Corporate Citizenship event, and there's just so many organizations out there who are building those strategic alliances. I am the nonprofit sector connector. I can't help myself. I must speak about these things when it comes up in conversation, but it's about those relationships. So that event is October 2nd. I will do my best to get there with kids in tow, because like when you got horses, my kids like the horses too. So back into it. Couple things. Why can't Valerie feed your horses carrots? Let's start there.
Okay, so number one, safety reasons. Okay, you can, God forbid, lose a finger, so we don't want that. But really, because horses start getting to be pushy, they start looking for the treats. They expect it all the time, and they start like nudging
nippy.
you, getting a little nippy. They might bite and kind of push you around. We just don't do it. We put it in their feed bucket. That's theirs. That's their space. When they're with us, we don't have feed.
All right. So I won't push the issue, but let me ask you this. I volunteered.
An apple here and there. We won't.
Can I brush? Can I do
Yes,
the brush?
yes.
Okay, I'll do the brush.
Yeah, we do that.
I'll do the brushing and I'll have a couple of apples in my pockets.
Yeah, in your pocket.
Throw carrots in your pocket.
Yeah, they'll work. Yeah, they know when we have them in our pockets. They can smell the treats.
We were at
Senses are incredible. Their senses, the eyesight, smell, hearing. So
They'll know if it's even on your
know if it's on
hands.
your hand. They'll start looking.
Ah.
for
When
it.
you start smelling it on you, they're like, what you got?
telling you, we're
What
at
about-
Horseability one day, Val. Let me tell you, we're at Horseability, my wife and I, and like it was like March, so we had jackets on or whatever. And all of a sudden, I hear her laughing hysterically. I go, "What's the matter?" So this one horse put its head over and was like rustling in her pocket. Because she's never been there. It's not like the horse recognized her as, the treat giver, but like either sensed something or smelled something.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, there was probably a chocolate bar in my pocket because it usually, but it wasn't me they were going after. So they're super smart. I mean, let's just, right?
They
Yeah.
love peppermints, anything like that, mints.
I remember from the movie The Black Stallion. I'm all about horse movies today. Remember? Maybe you guys might have seen it. I don't know, but like The Black Stallion, I remember the kid was feeding sugar cubes.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
the sugar
yep, sugar
cubes, yeah.
cubes, yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wild. They have a sweet tooth.
They do.
I wanted to ask about, so you have another organization, Iron Horse Fields?
That's me. That's just my business.
Okay. So what is your business? Let's talk about it.
Training, horse training. I'll just help people. Again, it just grew into this. It wasn't something that I always.
Okay.
And one thing led to another. You help one person, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, could you help me?" And I help that
Right.
person. And it just started to kind of grow into something.
Yeah.
helping, Eileen with Warrior Ranch and became part of that.
Yeah, she's doing.
So you're offering the services to someone who, let's say they live out there. A lot of people, more people that I think in Suffolk, right, have horses or they house them in Suffolk, right? Okay, so
There's
you're
a
out-
lot-
There's a
horses
lot
around
now.
here.
There are
Yeah.
a lot in Nassau, but there's probably Suffolk's bigger,
Yeah.
so it's.
A lot of horses
and I
around.
feel like
yeah.
it has more wide open fields or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, but also, so, okay, let's say I move to Calverton and I get a horse and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I call you to help me train the horse. And what does that training encompass? Like besides, I guess, well, I won't even guess.
Well, I try to help you to understand how to relate to the horse, to help you with all that groundwork. Well, the groundwork helps you bond with your horse. It's pretty amazing to see that, that connection.
Yeah.
Just getting on their backs and riding. I mean, listen, I learned that my whole life growing up, but once I found out about, the groundwork, the natural horsemanship, it's a whole nother world that I'm so glad. I'm very lucky I fell into that because I don't think I'd be where I am right now. It's pretty amazing.
It's about a
And
partnership.
It
It's
really,
partnership.
it really is. And they like it. They
Yeah.
like that work, that you bond on the ground and you do stuff like that before you act. And everything you do on the ground does apply to in the saddle. It makes a much nicer horse to ride and even ride around. Every
You know,
step-
it sounds familiar in the sense of Caesar Milan, right? Famous.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Exactly, exactly.
And he always says, I'm here to train the people. He's like, I'm not here to train your dog.
Train the horse. Let's say, you gave me a horse and I trained it for 4 weeks. I send it back to your house. What's gonna happen?
What are you gonna do?
know
Right.
what to do. It's gonna revert back to its old, bad habits or whatever it was. Like you gotta keep it up, maintenance.
Amazing.
As time goes on, it gets easier and easier. Like our horses now, they're like,
Yeah,
they're so easy. Like we don't have to do that every day.
yeah, no, it's like you
Like
do.
they're
the-
already who
yeah.
they are,
Yeah.
That's what makes it so worthwhile.
Yeah, no, my horse sees me, he whinnies. He's like,
They're just-
it's really cool.
They're fun.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
how I ended up with a
cool.
Chihuahua. That's actually how we got Mickey, Val. Look, we were at the Roosevelt Field Mall and the little Chihuahua winked at us. And then I had, at least if I went, I mean, I guess that's less of a challenge than if I went to like, Warrior Ranch and a horse winked at me. And then now I have a horse. Like it was a tiny
Just a little bit.
tiny Chihuahua, which is
It
dangerous.
happens.
That's happening, yeah. Well, speaking of the two miniature horses, Schmane Butterscotch, are up for adoption if anybody's interested.
Oh my God, Tommy,
Val, this might be the one, Val. You're
Tommy,
trying to
do
convince,
it. You
manipulate.
have to do it.
This
And
might-
they drive. They
And
both drive.
they drive carts.
Could you imagine if I'm going like to the Stop and Shop and I'm like in my little cart and they drive me there like in and butter? So I would need two though, because not
Now,
that I'm a big dude, but like
They're a little big, I think. You
Yeah.
might need the
You
2
might-
horsepower.
yeah. We have the carts. It's a 2-man cart. Kathy.
I cannot. I would just roll over with joy.
what if I had that?
If
What if I
he
had that?
got
horse?
a
What if
horse?
I got and then what happens? Like, I mean, like if I go away for the weekend with my family, like I could drop them off at Old Westbury, or I could drop them. It's like as like, can you watch my horse for like 48 hours? Like, how's that
Yeah,
work?
yeah, you already got the plan set. I think your wife better be ready for this because.
It is a huge commitment, by the way.
It is, yes. In all seriousness, it is it's a big commitment. If you're gonna keep them at your house, you need to have a support system that when you do go away on vacation are able to take care of them.
You need a horse sitter.
Yeah, because it's not like
The
dogs. you
dog
can't-
sitter, the cat sitter,
sitter,
the horse sitter.
right,
Absolutely.
Oh, trust me, if we were like, I know we are really joking. I don't have that much problem, but like, if we were serious about it, I know, like, I could be like, Val, I'm leaving to go somewhere in an hour, and she would like fly here to get to.
Well, you don't have to be with them 24/7. They're not gonna feed them.
But
I
Val
would
would
fly-
be,
yeah.
like, knocking people over, half
Yeah.
would get like knocked out of the way so she could watch my horse.
I would fly there and then I would call Gina and be like, what do I do?
What do I do? Tommy, I'll take care of your horses. Gina, help. Sully is also available for adoption if somebody just wants a driving horse. We're trying to get him to the point where you could ride him too. And then we'll say, but if somebody was looking for a driving horse, he's a great horse. So
Talk about
most
that.
people are looking for both. So
That's the repurposing, and I have a question about riding, but like, that's the repurposing angle, right? Like, it's not just,
Yes.
they're coming to the ranch to learn different things, like you talked about with, was it Sully? I think it was Sully you were talking about, Gina, like how you train him on certain things that he didn't know, but now he's ready to go back out. So it's not always,
Right.
they're not always coming to stay at the ranch forever, or are any coming to the ranch to stay forever?
no, not really. The purpose is again, to almost, lack of a better word, it's a revolving door, but not fast. They don't go out until they're fully ready. And that's why our veterans and first responders come, they help, and now they've helped rescue that horse too.
So you're like a long-term foster.
It depends on the horse. Like right now, we've had these guys for a year. So yeah, but that's okay. Now they're ready to go. We wanted to make sure that they were safe and
Right.
ready to
You know,
go. And
it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months. You have to really put the time in to retrain and make them safer for people and for them.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and we want them to be with the family that's gonna love them and hold on to them, not send them
Forever.
back out.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, forever. And we do keep in touch with them because if it doesn't work out, we'll take them back.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I love that. See, that is to me, the pillar, one of the fundamental differences in any, world of rescue, or even breeding, but, to stand by the animals and say, if you, for whatever reason, financial hardship or someone's sick, no longer able to care for these animals, they're coming back to us.
Yep.
That's, in my humble opinion, very important.
You don't want them to end up where they
No,
were.
yeah, you don't want them to-
That's the whole,
Right. That's real rescue. I wanted to ask you the retreats that you do. Let's talk about that too, as if we're speaking to a veteran right now. What I'm a veteran, well, I'm not a veteran, but if I were a veteran and I'm, interested in a retreat and getting involved, what does that look like for me?
Well, what you have to fill out the retreat application, which is on the website, and that's just so we have some background information on
Okay.
the participant. So we can tailor the program, sometimes we'll match people up with certain things and just so we have a background on people.
What kind of background? I'm just curious, like, is it like a credit check or?
No, it's not a credit check, but we need to know because we are specifically for veterans and first responders.
Okay.
And we need the proof that you are who you say you
Oh,
are.
good, right,
Because we
right.
don't want stolen valor.
Yeah, no,
So that's number one. And if there's any type of substance abuse or some past history or something, we just kind of need to know about it. So we need so we're prepared, right? So we do also have a mental health person that will be there in case something happens and we don't know how to handle it, because we're equine people, we're not mental health professionals. So we do have a mental health professional on standby because people come with issues. I mean, they have PTS, they may be fine, but other people may have PTS, so there are certain issues that we need to be prepared for.
Right.
If, someone's like really suicidal, we need to know that because and there's serious things that do come up and we need to be prepared for that. And if somebody has an injury or a handicap, and we prepare the horse for that. If somebody's on crutches or in a wheelchair, the horse needs to prepare for that because if a horse has never seen the wheelchair, that could spook the horse. I mean, I've been on trail rides and there's someone pushing a baby carriage. My horse was like, oh my God, what is that? He started snorting and backing up. And so we just asked the people to stop. And of course they want to protect their kid and they stopped. They're like, no problem. And then we just, slowly went by, but we have to introduce the horses to certain things.
Right.
If somebody's got a prosthetic or a crutch or something like that.
This is really great information. This is real preparation, and that's, I love what you said before about, not allowing, there's no room for stolen valor. I appreciate that tremendously. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And
Good job, guys.
yeah, so we have another horse. I don't know if we're going to break or not, but we have another horse we'd love to talk about.
Yeah. Who's that? Maybe can I show pictures? Is he?
Ranger.
Okay.
He should
I got
be,
him. Top left. I'll show him. You sell him, I'll show him.
Ranger's the best. He's, what was that?
Is he on the website?
He should be somewhere.
I mean, I got one that says Ranger. There's
Like
only,
our newest.
He's our newest one.
this is him. This is him, right?
That's him.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been like the first day that we
Yeah.
got him. Wow, yeah, that was when we very first got him.
Yeah, there's only a couple pictures of him on here.
He's a beautiful quarter horse. When we got him, there was some inaccurate information that we received, and so he's had some behavioral issues.
what kind of horse is he?
A quarter horse.
Quarter horse.
Quarter horse, yeah. They're like the Labradors of the horse world. They're great. They're fantastic. They're like a little
Most versatile horse.
most versatile horse. But anyway, so when we got him, he had some behavioral issues, like he bucked and things like that. And Gina, again, did a phenomenal job with him. You want to talk about him, but she did a great job with him, but there are still some issues, and we'll get to what we're doing about that in a minute.
Well, again, somebody approached us about this horse, that we didn't go
Right.
and get him from a rescue, although he was rescued from a rescue.
Yeah, he
and
was in
they
a kill
couldn't-
pen. He was in a kill pen.
They couldn't handle having this horse. It wasn't a good fit for them because he had these issues, but they really didn't understand it. Anyway, they contacted Eileen and we went to go look at him, and I was like, yeah, let's definitely grab him. It looks like I see the potential in him now.
Yeah.
And as time was, again, wrong information here and there, just people just don't know,
Yeah.
we have to maintain these animals. And again, they said he was bucking, he bucked this person off, that person off. I put a lot of groundwork into him, and I definitely seen improvement, but then things started to go backwards. I started seeing,
Yeah.
I kept saying, I feel like this horse he's got pain, like a lot of pain in him. Like it's just in his body somewhere, in his face. Like he was just getting worse instead of getting better. Like he got better and then
It went backwards.
like something's up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just had this great vet, Pappy and Nick Talarico, Montesano and Talarico that came.
Phenomenal.
Small horse, his mouth. Nobody did dental care on him.
It was a mess.
His
It
teeth
was a
were
mess.
terrible. He had
Sores,
blisters,
ulcers, all in his. We were both like,
I
our
wish
jaws
we
were-
took pictures because he was so like in shock. We were like, because we were like in his
Yeah.
mouth too.
We were it was very upsetting to see because he was in a
Yeah.
lot of pain, and that's what
And it was
caused.
the left. People, they just
Don't know. It's not.
They
They're
don't
not
get
educated.
trained.
Yeah. it's
His
not-
back was so sore. Again, these vets do acupuncture.
because he had TMJ. He was like.
Yeah, he was biting on his jaw. He wasn't really eating properly because his jaw was wide. His teeth were too long.
He was uncomfortable, right? And when
Totally
you're
uncomfortable.
yeah,
Well, I would say more than uncomfortable.
Pain.
He was in pain.
he was in pain.
So I know we have to go to break, but when we come back, I want to follow up with this particular horse and find out how he's doing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to find out, to Valerie's point, like where is his forever home in your mind? Like who is the fit? Because it sounds like he's in on the mend and ready to roll. We do have to, our fearless producer Dylan is telling us, you guys got to take a break. So Dylan, we're taking a break. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
And we are back. Welcome back. Val, shout out the Compassion Awards real quick. I know you probably have some stuff you want to say about it, and then we will get back with our guests.
The Compassion Awards is the inaugural event. We want to make this an annual event. I have no doubt at this point it will be, where we are actually highlighting and recognizing 3 local Long Island heroes who are boots on the ground involved with animal rescue, TNR, animal advocacy. And there's nothing like this as far as I know. We have donations coming in from some corporations to support those rescues. We have incredible sponsors. We just picked up today our most recent sponsor. Thank you, Rob Tucker from the Canine Shop, 3 locations. He offers all raw food for cats and dogs. And he's just an incredible resource for health. In fact, I was asking him about what I should be feeding my cat, who I just found out has diabetes 2 days ago. That's another story. Anyway, so the Canine Shop will be there. They'll have a table along with our other phenomenal sponsors who we have been mentioning every week. But if you want to be in a room full of amazing animal lovers, pet parents, and some people who are in the pet industry, this is the place to be, October 11th at the Refuge in Melville. You can get your tickets at www.pal-show.com. That's pal-show.com.
And there'll be pet working. I understand there'll be some pet working.
Pet working.
Shout out to our friend Rob Tucker. Rob, we are so excited about entering this partnership with you. I know the 3 of us just said it before on the call, but I just see what cool things we're going to do over the next couple of years together.
So cool.
Oh, there's a dog on the show. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't pay attention.
She was missing for 2 minutes. That's Sunshine. She was, okay.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
Sunshine. No, that's okay. I love that. It's a great name.
No.
So okay, so how is Ranger doing now?
You go again.
So, with all his treatment, he had his teeth were done. He also had his hooves maintained. That's another
Frank
thing.
DeMarco.
Frank DeMarco, who's a fabulous farrier, fixed the angle on his hooves. Our vet did acupuncture on Ranger because his back was really very sore. A lot of this stuff came from neglect, hard riding. Some people just ride very hard. They don't warm up their horse. They just put them away. They don't really take care of the teeth. The hooves, they need to be done every 6 to 8 weeks, just like us, our nails grow. But no hooves, no horse.
Right, no hooves, no
You
horse.
can't let this stuff go. Like when he even came to us, he had like a little bit of a lip.
hitch.
That's all gone, just corrective shoeing.
And that's Frank. Yeah.
From
did that.
Frank. And he's healing now. We're just doing a lot of love and groundwork, and eventually I'll introduce the saddle back into his life. Right now we want him to just heal.
Right, because when he sees the saddle, he still gets nervous when he sees the saddle.
He's been misused, and he's such a nice, sweet horse.
Yeah, he's sweet.
Thank you for recognizing that he was in pain. I mean, there's certainly, you know, again, the ability to communicate and understand what they're telling you. And for the prior owners, either they missed it or they just weren't paying attention.
It wasn't, yeah, there's a few people, like the people who we got from,
She just rescued
she just
him.
rescued him.
It
She,
was
it
just too much
was
for
too
her.
much. And there's the
Right.
people before that,
I mean, who knows?
you know, who knows where it happened,
Yeah.
but it's just, it's
It's-
just, we want to educate people too while we're here.
Yeah.
You have to look in the horse's mouth. Yeah, they say, "Oh, look in the horse's mouth." You have to look in the horse's. I didn't realize that's what I said. But the teeth are important, just like they are for us.
You
know?
have to maintain.
You have to maintain. You have to.
How big is their acupuncture needle? Like normally they're like this big. I've had acupuncture, right? Or we talking like
No, no, little.
No, they're little. They're
They're
little.
little?
Yeah. they're
Okay.
little. Yeah. So, but he's a good boy. He's sweet. He's got the kindest eyes. He'll follow you around like a puppy dog. Gina does great groundwork with him. He circles around her. Like she'll stand there, he's not online, and she'll tell him, and he just circles around her. She'll
Try
jog.
not to get too attached.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard not to get
Oh.
Yeah, but he you
Yeah,
know,
he's
but
sweet.
she also starts jogging, and he'll jog behind her and follow her.
And
It's
we
he's
want him to
cool.
feel like
He's feeling
gotta-
loved. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to feel that.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
again,
I love that.
horse, not
Yeah.
just
Adorable. Adorable. Completely.
Yeah, he needs to be-
Completely utterly adorable.
I just said something very important. He needs to be a horse. He needs to
You know,
know.
people use them like they're machines, you know,
And they're
I mean, I
not.
hate to say it, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's all about the ride. Let me just get on a ride, and then they ride hard, and they just put the horse away, and they do the same thing the next day. But you have to maintain them. They're athletes, you know, they're like us. They feel what we feel. We get acupuncture, we go to a chiropractor, we go to doctors, right?
It's
So,
yeah.
Oh, my husband's gonna love you. He's a retired chiropractor.
hey, my guy keeps me going. I gotta go.
Exactly. So they say the equine profession, horseback riding is the only sport where your equipment has emotions. They have emotions.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense.
That's a good thing for golf clubs because golf and broken, good thing you don't have any feelings because that would.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that is an hour. We have to leave it there. That is how this show goes.
October 2nd.
October 2nd at the Warrior Ranch Foundation in Calverton. Get out there for the Harvest East End. I'm figuring out. I will be there that day. I got to just.
And then October 11th for the Compassion Awards. I hope you guys can make it.
Oh, that's right. That and two, we'll talk about the other thing, but also please go to the website and donate. We could always do funding. We
Thank you
absolutely need
guys
the
for
funding. Thank you
everything.
so
Thank
much.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Next week on the show, holy cow, Val, I have to get my quote. Next week on the show is Bonnie Clapper. Why don't you talk about that for 10 seconds so I can get my quote, Valerie?
Bonnie Clapper is an incredible animal advocate and attorney, animal rights welfare attorney, and she's been involved in a lot of successful fights, including helping Kabul Small Animal Rescue when all those animals were stranded in Kabul. Anyway, she's amazing, and I can't wait to have her on.
We will have her on next week. In his total commitment to nonviolence, I grabbed one of my business cards here because it's on the back of the business card, everybody. In his total commitment to nonviolence, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Mahatma Gandhi. Make it a great day.
Amen. Yay, Gandhi.
Thank you.